Miko Zilla. Miko Zilla. Hello, welcome back to my channel and another episode of Spooky Things. If you're new here, my name is Miko Zilla, and today we're gonna do something a little bit bloodthirsty. My last tier list video went really well, so I decided to make another one with a little bit of a horror twist. It is spooky season right now, so I thought that it would be fun if we made a tier list of horror movie villains. Now, I did a mini version of this in my overrated versus underrated video, but it has been expanded and I have 50 movie villains to rank here for you guys today. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, here we go guys. Let me first explain my tier. We'll start with the top. We'll start with the top tier, why not? So the top, very tippy top tier is called Nightmare Fuel. These are the villains that are the absolute most scary, like all the way through and through. Next up in the orange tier is going to be called Partners in Crime. Now these are villains that are actually kind of likable that I would want to work with and help them out on their murder spree. In the yellow tier is a tier called Actually Scary, which might sound similar to Nightmare Fuel, but the difference is in the Actually Scary category, these are things that might not necessarily be that scary in the movie itself. Like the movie might not be scary, but if the scenario were to play out in real life, if you were to get to know these villains in real life, they actually would be pretty scary, but maybe their movie's like not the spookiest. Next up is the category called Evil Genius. This one pretty much speaks for itself. I mean, these are the type of villains that might not be outwardly murderers or outwardly super scary and terrifying, but these are the creative, you know, scientific types, the mad scientist types. That's where those are gonna go. Next up is the category entitled Misunderstood Sad Boi. This is the category for villains who aren't even really all that evil. They're just kind of misunderstood, and maybe if their life played out differently, they wouldn't have been turned into villains. You know what I mean? Finally, in the absolute bottom category is this a joke? These are villains that aren't scary and lean into the more comedic side of things. Like if you were to encounter them, you'd probably just laugh it off, you know? All right, and we'll go ahead and get started with this tier list. Let's get this tier list. Okay, first on our list is Anaconda from the movie Anaconda. This movie was super like early 2000s, I believe. The CGI was terrible, and I will say that the anaconda does not behave how a real life wild anaconda would act. However, those things are huge. I'm not personally scared of it, but I can see how they would be actually scary in real life. So I'm gonna put this one in Actually Scary. Next up on our list, these are in alphabetical order, just so you guys know. Next on our list is the one and only Annabelle. I have a kind of complicated relationship with Annabelle. I do think that she's actually scary. Like, dolls in real life do creep me out. You know, maybe her movies aren't the spookiest, but when she pops up at the beginning of the first Conjuring movie, like, that's a moment. So I gotta give it to her. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in Actually Scary, because she doesn't give me the spooks, but if I saw her in real life, I definitely would be like spooked out. All right, next up is Annie Wilkes from Misery. Phenomenal book, by the way. Do I have any book readers in here? Stephen King's my absolute favorite, and I've been thinking I might do another tier list of Stephen King stuff, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, Annie Wilkes, she really, you know, is that overbearing, spooky type character. It's kind of, I guess it might be hard for like normal people to relate, myself included, but like when you're a celebrity and people are obsessed with you, it can go too far super quickly, and that's kind of what she represents. Also, medical murder is very real and very scary. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and put Annie Wilkes in the evil genius category, because I think that, you know, her tactics to keep the writer there in her home were like pretty evil, pretty conniving evil genius we got there. Okay, next up is none other than Bagul from the movie Sinister. Sinister is honestly like probably one of my favorite horror movies. It just is so successful in using the found footage and the lore of Bagul only showing up in photographs and film, and that's how the haunting transfers. I have to say, and the character design is also like really good. You only really see him fully in Sinister, like in glimpses, but the character design was so good that even if he showed up blurry or just like a part of him, it still has that menacing presence to it. I'm gonna go ahead and put Bagul in Nightmare Fuel because that actually is pretty scary. Moving right along is the Candyman. Before you ask me, I have not seen the new Candyman yet. I'm dying to see it. So my only frame of reference right now is for the original movie. And I have to say, Candyman's kind of hot, like low key. Nothing's hotter than a guy that shows up when you call his name. So for that, I'm gonna put him in Partners in Crime. I agree with what he's doing, you know what I mean? I think he's like a cool dude. Nobody accessorizes like that anymore either. Like, come on ladies. Okay, next up we have Carrie White, of course from Carrie. You know, this is a girl that has been through a lot. Like, let's just say bullying is not okay. Alright, bullying's not okay. And I fully agree with what she did to get revenge. I mean, how many times have I wished that my telekinetic powers would just awaken in me one day, and all the things that I do with it definitely have to wrong your enemies. Part of me wants to put her in misunderstood Sad Boi, but at the same time, I fully agree with what she's doing and want to be like right next to her, helping her out, you know? Gassing her up, dude. Like, she needs someone in her corner, and I think I do a great job of that. Next up is none other than Chucky from Child's Play. Who doesn't love a doll possessed by a serial killer, voiced by a hilarious man? These movies, they came out, you know, way before my time. So growing up, I always thought Chucky was like super creepy and scary. Again, like, I'm afraid of dolls, but I feel like if I met Chucky in real life and once I got to know him a little bit and we had a little bit of banter, like, I'd definitely be Partners in Crime. The dude is hilarious. He's creative. He knows what's up. And we're gonna go ahead and put him in Partners in Crime. Love to work with you someday, Chucky. All right, next up we have the Cloverfield monster from Cloverfield. Honestly, like, he just showed up to fuck shit up, and I really respect that about him. The Cloverfield movies I don't really think are like scary. I really like 10 Cloverfield Lane, but mostly because it doesn't feel like a Cloverfield movie, you know what I mean? Like, all the other ones are super bad. I'm gonna have to say this is actually scary though. Like, if there was really a giant monster destroying the city, like, that would be pretty terrifying, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna put this in actually scary, but I don't stay awake, you know, worrying about the Cloverfield monster. All right, next up we have the Crawlers from the movie The Descent. The Descent, honestly, is kind of underrated. I don't hear that many people talking about it, but for me, it's one of the most intense, like, horror thrillers ever. It was already filling me with so much tension, like, even before the Crawlers showed up, so they were the perfect addition to the atmosphere. Everything's very dreamlike, and for that reason, I have to put the Crawlers in Nightmare Fuel. Alright, here is Cujo from the movie Cujo, another Stephen King adaptation. To be honest, like, I'm probably one of the biggest dog lovers you'll ever meet in your entire life. And if you haven't read Cujo or if you haven't seen Cujo, the only reason he's the villain is because he got scratched by a bat and he has rabies. So it's not 100% his fault, and for that reason, he's going in misunderstood Sad Boi. Okay, next up is Death from The Final Destination. I tried to include some really offbeat villains on this list, so I hope it's not disappointing. Death in the Final Destination franchise, you probably know, is more of a concept. He's a force of nature, and it's a guarantee. So, I mean, death is all around us, dude. The way it's portrayed in the Final Destination movies, though, is kind of corny at times. Like, Death really likes to have fun with his projects. So I'm gonna say Death from Final Destination, actually scary. I mean, we've all seen those movies, and we all have that one scene that's like super traumatic for us that we'll never forget. For me, it's a lot of them. Roller coasters, I don't do roller coasters. Planes, I'm always afraid on, and I'm always afraid to drive behind logging trucks or trucks carrying any kind of like potentially loose cargo. Freaks me out. So I'm gonna say actually scary because it actually is. Okay, and this is Dr. Heiter from The Human Centipede. We all by now know the plot of The Human Centipede, so I'm not gonna get into it. All I need to say is that this man is going in evil genius. He's the perfect mad scientist archetype. Next up is Dracula, King of the Vampires, the OG vampire king. I think Dracula needs like a little bit of a makeover, someone to teach him like some, you know, current slang, get him on TikTok, you know, get a social media presence out there for him, and I think he could really be thriving. It's just that some of his old tricks don't really seem to be working that well anymore, so until he gets his act together, I have to put him in Is This a Joke? Here's another semi-abstract one. This is the Elite Hunting Club, which is the organization behind the murders in the Hostel franchise. I do have to say that human trafficking, going to a foreign country, and the human trafficking and the potential murders is very scary. Those movies are gory, and I need to rewatch them. They're a fun time. But this, if it happened to me in my real life, I would be very scared. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in actually terrifying. All right, we're moving on to Esther, the Orphan. If you haven't seen The Orphan, it has a really good twist ending, which I will spoil for you now. Spoiler alert! I probably should have put a spoiler alert at the beginning because I'm talking plots, I'm talking spoilers. Anyway, Esther the Orphan turns out to be a horny old lady. Honestly, I'd put her in Is This a Joke? But her plan was really solid and it almost worked, so I'm gonna have to put her in Evil Genius. I think that's the right choice for her. Oh, here we go. It's my main man, Freddy Krueger. Y'all who've been on the channel for a long time know that I absolutely love Freddy Krueger. He's one of my all-time favorite villains, and it's for the camp factor. He has the best one-liners. Like, he cracks me up. Those movies are so fun to watch, and it's all because of Freddy. So I have to put him in Partners in Crime. There's honestly nobody I'd rather work with. And here we have Ghostface from the Scream franchise. Ghostface, another like so iconic. I love Scream. It's probably my #1 favorite horror movie of all time. A lot of different people take on the Ghostface mask throughout the franchise, which I think is hot and mysterious and overall really cool. So I think I'd probably be an accomplice as well to get revenge on the town. So we're just gonna go ahead and put him in Partners in Crime. Here we go. All right, this one is Griffin, aka the Invisible Man. Now, I do think the concept of like an invisible person sounds kind of corny because like it's just a guy. But if you think about the real world applications, like if someone truly had the ability to be invisible and they wanted to come for you, they could fuck with you so hard, and that's basically where the actual horror in the movie comes from. So I'm gonna have to put this in actually terrifying because like it is, dude. And here we have Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs, another character that I have a dear spot in my heart for. Why do I love psychos so much? Anyway, I could listen to this man talk for hours. He could just lecture me and tear me to pieces. He can brainwash me. He just has a really like unique way of speaking, and I love that for him. I do have to say, I don't think I'd want to work with him because I don't want to get my face eaten. So I'm gonna go ahead and put him in Evil Genius because he is. All right, this is Jack Torrance from The Shining, yet another Stephen King adaptation. The Shining is another one of my favorite movies of all time. I also absolutely love the book. The two are very different, but Jack Torrance is the same idea. He's kind of influenced by the hotel itself, and it causes him to try to murder his family. I mean, we've all been there. But on the real, like, men scare the shit out of me, and this isn't even really like a horror villain. This is just like how men act. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and put him in actually scary. And here's my other main boo, Jason Voorhees. I have a sexy Jason tattoo on my leg, so you know that I love Jason and Friday the 13th. Camping vibes, getting murdered, roasting marshmallows. It's so much fun. It's just like summer things, you know? We're having a hot kill summer over here. And Jason, though, you know, he works alone. He has his own motives. I don't think he'd really want me to work with him, but I do think that, like, again, the bullying just got to him, and like, he didn't deserve all that. So I'm gonna have to put Jason in Misunderstood Sad Boy. Okay, do you guys know what shark this is? You guessed it, it's none other than Jaws himself. Was the shark's name actually Jaws? I don't know. Again, y'all have been on the channel for a minute will know that I fucking love sharks, and I do have to say, like, Jaws actually is scary. I think it actually made real people like afraid of sharks. However, sharks are very like docile in general, and they're not out to get humans, and this goes for, you know, more shark movies at large. I don't like how they are continuing to portray sharks as these like evil things when they're really just not. I went swimming with sharks. I think they're beautiful, so I'm gonna have to say, especially because the shark like in Jaws really had it in for them, like chase them down. No shark is doing that, so I'm gonna have to put this in Is This a Joke? Because you must be joking if you think that sharks are like that. All right, here we go. Jigsaw from the Saw franchise. Ooh, 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 yeah. Everybody knows about Saw. I don't have to explain anything about it. Even though many people were Jigsaw, I'm gonna have to say the elaboracy, is that a word? Elaboracy? The elaborate plans to kidnap people, take them to a secret location, not only take them there, but like scout those locations ahead of time, make all these mechanical preparations, you're building machines, and then you're putting people in the machines that are traps, and you know, if they die, they die. You're not really a killer per se, but that's another argument for a video dedicated to it. So I'm gonna have to say, like, this is quite obviously going into the Evil Genius category. Quite a bit more in there than I originally thought would be. All right, and this is Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This shit is some heavy shit. He's wearing somebody else's face. It's very, very creepy. I don't know where to categorize him though. I feel like he has kind of a sad backstory, and like, he came up in this really shitty murderous family. Like, it's not 100% Leatherface's fault. A lot of it is his family's fault. I'm gonna go ahead and put Leatherface in Misunderstood Sad Boy. Here, him and Jason should start a support group, and Cujo can be their emotional support animal. Okay, this is If you can't tell, Leprechaun from the movie Leprechaun, which, to be 100% honest, I've never actually seen Leprechaun, but I've seen a bunch of clips from it before, and it seems pretty funny. Like, yeah, this has to go in, is this a joke? I mean, I know it was the 90s or whatever, but come on. Come on. People weren't really taking this seriously in the 90s. If you were alive when this movie came out and you got scared by Leprechaun, please let me know in the comments because I think that would be hilarious. Alright, we must move on. Alright, here we go. Michael Myers from Halloween. You know, he's like ooky spooky, you know what I mean? Like, he just pops up out of nowhere and he like doesn't have to run, but he's still right behind you. It's real spooky. I feel like Michael Myers, again, you know, he had a pretty tragic past and like that seems to be on trend for the classic slashers. He's like ooky spooky, but I do have allegiances to Jamie Lee, so I'm gonna have to put him in misunderstood. No, he's actually scary. He'd be like really scary in real life. Here is Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, another classic example of the common alpha male who has a breakdown and commits violence. This shit is actually terrifying too. Like, it just is so real. Like, feels like it could happen in real life. This is Pazuzu from The Exorcist, who famously possessed this little girl, and it made her do all kinds of crazy things, you guys. I'm sure you've seen it. It's a classic. You know, Pazuzu is just kind of doing his thing. He's just kind of vibing, you know what I mean? I don't know where to put Pazuzu. I'm gonna go ahead and put Pazuzu in Nightmare Fuel. Looking a little lonely up there. Demons are undeniably scary. Even if they have a semi-religious context that I don't necessarily vibe with, it's fine. This is Pele from Midsummer. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name incorrectly, I'm just dumb. Midsummer, it was such an instant classic. I implore you, if you have not seen it, to go watch it now. Pele is a villain because he kind of ropes everyone into this cult and kind of leads them to their destruction, ultimately. I think he's a snake and a bad friend. And for that, he's going in probably evil genius. Like, he really did convince these people to come to this cult. So I'm just like, shit. Using drugs and sex to lure people, that's pretty fucking smart. I can't even look at this one because I'm too scared. This is Pennywise. As you know, I'm like very afraid of clowns, and Pennywise is my #1 like nightmare fuel. He's automatically going to nightmare fuel. Old Pennywise, new Pennywise, doesn't matter. They are terrifying. I'm too scared. Leave me alone, please. Alright, here is Pinhead from Hellraiser. He is one of the, what are they called? Xenobites? Xenomorphs? No. He's a demon from another realm, which is like pretty relatable, and like he's into BDSM, so I really just think he's like just trying to vibe and do his own thing. I'm gonna put him in Misunderstood Sad Boy because wanting pain is just like so emo. Like, what's more emo than that? Cause like, he's a demon. Does that make him evil that he's being true to his own nature? He's just misunderstood. He serves a purpose in the spiritual realms beyond our understanding. It's not for me to say he's evil. He's just misunderstood. He's doing his job. He's doing his best, okay? Side note, I'm really excited for the Hellraiser remake. It's probably gonna be really good. I hope they use practical effects though. Bad CGI will definitely ruin it. The practical effects in the original were so good. Okay, here we have some Purgers from The Purge. This is obviously like a group of people. They're all different, but they all wanna fuck you up. And you know, if The Purge was real, I'd probably be out there doing the same thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in Partners in Crime. This is like the ultimate like fun crime spree. This is Sam from the anthology movie Trick or Treat, which is one of my favorites. Sam is just a really cute, and like, you know, he's kind of doing his own thing. I'm an adult, so I'm not allowed to go trick-or-treating, which honestly, normalize adults going trick-or-treating. Kids don't even care about Halloween anymore, I swear. Anyway, Sam's great. I don't know if I'd want to like necessarily take responsible for him because his energy is a little bit chaotic, but I will say he's just trying to have fun, and like Everybody who's trying to stop him should just leave him alone. He's just misunderstood. Actually, you know what? I'll put him in Partners in Crime. I think it'd be fun to hang out with him on Halloween. Get into some hijinks, you know, just classic tricks and treats. Here we have Samara from The Ring. You know, Samara, she's really, truly not that evil. Like, she was wronged so bad, and for that, she's going in Misunderstood Sad Boy. That's a category, it's not just for boys. It's for anyone who's misunderstood and or sad. So Samara fits perfectly with the rest of these guys. Okay, here we have the spiders from Arachnophobia. These spiders, you know, okay, I saw Arachnophobia like quite a long time ago and I don't really remember it, but I do remember that I was never really afraid of spiders until after I saw Arachnophobia, and then I started getting freaked out by them a little bit more. These spiders, if I'm remembering correctly, have some kind of crazy venom that kills you. They're like stealthy and intelligent, and they would hide in your house until they could get you. So I'm gonna have to say that this is actually scary, because if these spiders really existed, I don't think anyone would sleep soundly again. Okay, now we have another type of movie spider, which is a giant spider in movies such as Eight-Legged Freaks. Now, this image is kind of funny. The CGI did not hold up well, but I do think that if giant spiders were attacking, it'd be terrifying in real life. So I'm gonna go ahead and again put these ones in actually terrifying. Eight-Legged Freaks, who knew? And here we see pictured the one and only gay icon, the Babadook. The Babadook is such a great character design. I loved the movie. I love the symbolism behind it. For those not in the know, the Babadook kind of represents the family's depression, and he never really goes away. You just gotta pay attention to him, feed him once in a while, and you're good to go. I will say the Babadook is radiating misunderstood sad boy energy, like truly. Here we have The Blob. If you've never seen The Blob, it's a classic. Basically, an asteroid strikes Earth, and inside the asteroid is this alien organism, which is kind of like a pink blob. And as the movie progresses, the blob basically goes around town, and everything he touches, it's digesting. So it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. When I first saw this movie, I was really young, and it actually did scare me, but now I'm kind of like, is this a joke? Like, for real. All right, and we have here the Collector from The Collector and The Collection, and soon the new one, The Collected. He's kind of like a home invasion mixed with like a jigsaw where he sets up like little traps and stuff, but he really is also the one like just trying to kill you and or collect you. Just take in, you know, this very scary character. I used to have nightmares about home invasions a lot, and you know, this pretty much fits the bill. I'm gonna go ahead and put the Collector in Nightmare Fuel, because we don't really know what he does with you after you get collected, and he's pretty strong and tough and doesn't seem to get like captured really. All right, here we go. This is the creature from the Black Lagoon, the icon, the legend herself. The creature is just totally fish, you know what I mean? And it has everything that I've wanted, like a spooky face, like killer makeup, lives in a swamp, doesn't have to talk to people. I love it. Like, can I be the bride of the creature from the Black Lagoon? So I'm gonna have to put him in Partners in Crime. I'd be out there in the lagoon swimming around and spooking people. It'd be super fun. Learn to breathe underwater, you know, just girly things. Okay, next up is The Entity from It Follows. This movie is different from any movie I've really ever seen, and just the constant sense of danger of just knowing that the entity, no matter what or where you are, it is coming directly for you. No matter how far away you are, it's just following you. It follows. I'm so stupid. I'm sure you've all seen It Follows. This movie just feels very dreamlike, very spooky, and I actually did get nightmares after the first time I saw it. So this is going right into nightmare fuel. All right, here we have The Faculty from The Cabin in the Woods, another one of my favorite movies. The Faculty provides such a needed sense of comedic relief, and as the movie progresses, they are even more and more integrated into the storyline. I think this movie had excellent writing, and I think The Faculty, like, it'd be a fun place to work. I'd work there, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and put them in Partners in Crime. Hey, The Hills Have Eyes. This is a movie about inbred mutants that live in the hills, and they just kill and I think eat people? I don't know, I haven't seen this movie in quite a while. I will say they're just trying to mind their own business and protect their land, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them in... They don't seem sad about it though, they're just mad. So I'm gonna put it in, like, is this a joke? Okay, this is The Nun. Right off the bat, religious figures don't really creep me out. She herself is spooky, but like, she doesn't really scare me. I'm gonna have to put her in, is this a joke? The Strangers, the ultimate home invasion scary movie. This movie does a great job of building tension and keeping tension. I also love the sequel, Strangers Pray at Night. So much fun to watch. I'm gonna go ahead and put The Strangers in Partners in Crime because they like really know how to have fun, and I need some of that energy in my life right now. Nothing better than like a group of friends hanging out, you know? It's just like good vibes. Okay, we're back. My camera died and the tier list cleared itself out, so I had to put everything back in. It's fine. Anyway, we only have like 5 movie villains left, so we'll go ahead and get back into it here. Okay, this amorphous blob is not actually the blob that we talked about before. This is The Thing. Very similar concept now that I think about it. You know, an alien organism, but I digress. The Thing is very scary because it can turn into lots of different people. Nobody knows really who it is. It's very hot and like mysterious. And the use of practical effects in this movie is second to none. I'm gonna have to say The Thing is actually scary, like in real life. Don't think it, don't say it, just don't do it, man. It's the bye-bye man. I said it, no. But for real, the Bye-Bye Man, terrible movie, bad concept. Is this a joke? And this is Tiffany Valentine, aka the Bride of Chucky. And if there's a bad bitch in the room, it is her. We stan her so much. Jennifer Tilly, who played her, phenomenal. I stan you. She's absolutely Partners in Crime material. Like, we be fucking shit up, doing baddie shit. Imagine how, like, her Instagram account would be if she was around for Instagram. She'd be like the ultimate Instagram baddie, just saying. And you can't deny me on that. You just can't. It's a fact, okay? All right, the Xenomorph from Aliens. Gotta say, very strong creature design. Probably one of the creepiest looking aliens in any movie that I've ever seen. Just so flawless, so chic, and she really like sets the bar. If I saw her in real life, well, I probably wouldn't even see it coming. It would just get you. So I'm gonna have to say this is also going in actually scary. Maybe Xenomorphs are based on real aliens. Who knows? Alright, this is the last one on the list, and it's kind of more of a general concept rather than being from anything specific, but zombies. Zombies are kind of played out, honestly. Like, there's so many different kinds of zombies. Is it, you know, a disease? Are they literally coming back from the dead? Is it supernatural? Is it scientific? Zombies will always have a place in horror culture, but to me, is this a joke? I've really had enough zombie stuff. Like, The Walking Dead really, like, ruined zombies. Wake me up when there's an actually good zombie movie. The only one I can really think of that was, like, an actually good zombie movie is, like, The Crazies. I always thought that one was really good, but I recently rewatched it and, like, it really wasn't even as good as I remember it, so it's whatever. Zombies are just whatever. Overrated, and is it a joke? Like, it's kind of funny. And here we have our tier list of 50 horror villains. I can't believe I really had to go in and remake this entire tier list just to add 5 more things on, so make sure to give this video a thumbs up for my pain, okay? Well, that's about it for today, guys. I hope you had fun watching this video. Let me know in the comments where you would have ranked some of these movie villains. Did I get it right? Would you have done things differently? If you liked this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and as always, subscribe to the channel down below. It helps me out a lot. And if you really like me and you want to follow me outside of YouTube, I am on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, all at Miko Zilla. That's all for me today, you guys. I'm gonna go get ready for my 11 o'clock shift as a sleep paralysis demon. See you tonight. Bye.